back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a couple of world-class weirdos in love that love some World of Warcraft.
We're definitely world-class weirdos.
Yes, we are. And it's Double Trouble Thursday, which means this is the second reaction video we've posted today. And so we had a little bit of a mix-up on our last journey. It was part 10. So we had a bunch of cinematics, and then there's a lot of requests for Shattered Legacies, and we didn't realize how much was a gap in between the end of our list that we had been given and then Shattered Legacies, which just came out. So it's since Shadowlands is still coming out with new content, we're like, oh, we'll just tag on this new. I was just like, oh, well, we'll just tag on this new video, and it'll be fine. But yeah, there's a lot we missed. So thank you so much for the community. For coming together and giving us, a really good list. We went with ones that were most voted on, and we're trying to get as much of the story as possible. There might be some gaps here and there, but there was a big gap before. We're also gonna watch Shattered Legacies again in this, just to now that we get a little more context with it. How does that video change? I almost forgot. We also got our Whiskey Warbringer, because it's our World of Warcraft reaction. So we have our official World of Warcraft drink, the Whiskey Warbringer. Cheers.
Cheers.
And if for some reason this is the first time you're checking out our reaction, then go ahead and look in the description of this video. We have our full journey down there, plus a couple other Warcraft stuff that we've reacted to. And we're gonna react to more after this for World of Warcraft. We're not done. So this is after Sylvanas killed the Lich King or broke the Lich King's thing.
Got it, okay.
Seize this power for herself. Instead, she has done the unthinkable. Now, she will come for them all. To finish what she started. And break all who opposed her. Azeroth together will be in her sights.
Well, this really sets her up as the ultimate villain.
Always trust your animals.
He's visiting his father. Way to just stand there, dude!
And when she comes, our end begins.
Our end what?
Begins.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah.
Come on! Is this the best you can do?
Oh, no! That's the best I can do.
Damn.
Now it's getting interesting.
Yeah, they are. Did she just lightning bolt those dogs?
I'm not sure.
I have a feeling she's gonna kick your ass.
She doesn't look like she's trying that hard.
Your power has grown.
Where is she?
With him, of course. In the darkest place. Along with every soul burned to ash in your precious tree.
Where is she?
Yeah. Probably shouldn't bring up the treaty.
Go on. Kill me. You'll send me right to my lady. Beyond the veil, she shattered. Oh, Tyrande. High priestess, night warrior. Completely powerless to stop the coming.
Yeah. You talk too much.
Hope you're as happy with that outcome as you pretended to be.
The owl approves.
What did she just say?
Teldrassil, the
Oh.
name of the tree.
Okay.
Maybe she said for Teldrassil. I haven't heard the Teldrassil.
You were ever fond of saying that the Fen here do not destroy. We educate. It is time you were reminded of Revendreth's noble purpose.
You can bind me here.
I am the Eternal. I am your master.
But we got fancy mirrors.
Remember this lesson.
Sanctify your spirit.
You just chucked them in? Oh, okay.
Nothing escapes the law. Yield to the inevitable.
This guy's tough to understand.
Advance.
Neil's inevitable.
Yeah.
The light is with me, even here.
There you go. You got magic skills too, dude.
You could have found them sooner to help your friends.
You can revive them.
Go!
It's a cool look for the character, the literal gaping hole
Have
in
failed.
the chest.
Yeah.
I have precisely what I need.
Look around you.
What makes you believe you're not just a weapon to achieve his ends?
Enough!
Join our cause, or be made to serve.
Right now, you hold all the power. Make your choice, Sylvanas Windrunner.
Okay, and that's where we had left off, like the jump to Shattered Legacies. And
Dang.
Despite all our efforts, the maw continues to grow. What if Denathrius' treachery is irreparable? The Primus is lost, and Bastion cannot save the Shadowlands alone.
None of this should have happened.
Perhaps the Winter Queen could.
My Archon, a living soul, seeks an audience.
A mortal.
A king. By all our measures, one who has spent his life striving for justice. One who would give anything to serve his people. One whose heart is true.
Very well. He may approach. Step forward. My Ascended have spoken of you. The king held captive in the mall.
That prison could not hold me forever.
Why have you come to Bastion?
You have a key that I need.
Oh no.
You will release this soul from your grasp.
No. He is bound to me.
Just as you once sought to bind your own brother.
Holy crap!
The vessel performed its part flawlessly. 3 keys remain. Then they will see. Death was never meant to be chained.
She almost looked like she had a little bit of regret there. Or like she was hoping that maybe like he would be able to overcome the possession or something. I don't know. There was a look that she gave.
There was a look that she gave. Doesn't redeem her though.
No, that's not redeem her. Guardians. Well, that was anticlimactic. Oh, yeah!
Saranda, I understand you've been looking for me. Come then. Show me Elune's wrath.
Elune gave me her strength. The wrath is mine alone.
Kick her ass.
Yeah. Ooh, still good.
Night warrior. I expected more.
I will take your head, Banshee! Just
Yeah.
like I took his. Thoros, you didn't know. Your master is keeping secrets from you.
I don't like her.
Mm-hmm. That's the girl that Illidan fell in love with, but then his brother married.
A trick. No!
She also has awesome tattoos.
Yes.
It is time. Inqua Melema.
Get her.
At last.
And yet, the night's power wanes. Once again, she denies you victory.
Mother Moon, do not forsake me. End this.
Yeah.
Travis's bargain, Tyrande. Nothing lasts.
That goes for your power too, which...
Tyrande, can you hear me? Tyrande?
The battle is almost upon us. I will deal with the invading forces atop Torghast. When we reach Oribos, you will defend Zoval while he completes the ritual.
You mean he will compel me to defend him? Each time he dominates my will, I feel myself slipping further away. Is this what you felt when Arthas raised you, Sylvanas? Hollow, empty. Everything you once were, consumed by darkness.
Yes, young lion. But in the end, the sacrifices we've made will have been worth it.
For who?
Once the cycle of life and death has been broken and remade, we will...
By that time, I'll have been lost.
Yeah.
And
He didn't,
so will you.
like, willingly sacrifice it. Like,
I only
force the
hope
sacrifice.
my friends will remember me as I was, not what you made me to be.
All completes him.
Got a hole in his chest.
Is once again
So he's like the ultimate Lich King.
The way is open, Zoval! We already have what we need!
too long I endured the Maker's flawed design. I will forge a new reality where all shall serve.
Yep, of course. That was his ultimate goal.
Sorry, but you were really dumb if you didn't say that before now.
Yeah, let me help you become the most powerful being ever.
And of course you'll then let me be totally independent.
I will never serve.
Still shamed by mortality. You did help restore something stolen from me. Allow me to name you. Kind. To their mercy.
Huh.
Be the first to witness reality's end.
That's an interesting twist of fate right there.
Yeah.
Cannot let him reach me.
How dare you come here, sister? After our cries for aid went unheard, unanswered.
I heard your cries, felt your pain, and in the wake of tragedy, sent forth the cascade of souls to sustain you.
Oh, the great tree. All who perished there were claimed by the Maw.
Then I have condemned my favorite children.
By our hand, we may yet guide their souls unto their spring. Starting with this one.
Tyrande invoked me. She must choose. Vengeance or renewal.
Not an easy choice.
Sylvanus' soul has been fractured from the moment of her death until now.
Burn it!
This was their home.
And you slaughtered all of them! How could you take all those innocent lives? This was beyond life and death. There was no other path to true freedom. How can you not see that? I see what you are. Murderer! Monster! Butcher! Why can I not escape this torment?
The jailer has severed their bond and condemned her to endlessly relive her atrocities. So long as her soul remains divided, she cannot wake.
Well, that's karma.
She shouldn't.
She's the only one who knows the jailer's plan and how we might save Anduin.
She's the one that turned Anduin.
Jaina is right. How can we possibly trust her? Her wound runs so much deeper than mine. Well met, Ranger General.
What is this? Who are you?
Someone who shared your fate, felled by the blade of the very same prince.
Arthas. I died trying to stop that monster, only to wake up haunted by one with my face.
That Banshee is you.
No. I cannot accept that.
Her path began where yours ended, and you've seen the decisions she made.
Never in 1,000 lifetimes would I betray everything I stood for.
You can't possibly understand.
The jailer is deceptively cunning. When I realized I had become his pawn, it nearly destroyed me. He had no doubts it would destroy you as well. Was he right? Or will you accept her shattered legacy and tell us how to stop him?
Her crimes are unforgivable.
Yes.
And she... I must face the consequences.
We cannot change the past, and we may never find forgiveness in the future. But inaction damns us all. Time is short, Ranger General. Make your choice. I've done all I can.
So she has to wake up the bad Sylvanas so that they can know where the jailer is.
I do like that name for him, the jailer.
So you like the name for the jailer?
I do. I think the name jailer is really appropriate. If you've ever been sort of like manipulated by someone, you know, and you're making decisions that in hindsight you go, God, I would never do that, as like Sylvanas does. It is a sort of like jailer-prisoner relationship, which doesn't exonerate her from what she did at all, because she still had a hand in it. And I like that she realizes that and said, I need to face consequences.
But apparently, I mean, what it was is like when he took out that little crystal or whatever, that was the good Sylvanas soul that he had been like holding on to. That was separate from like the bad Sylvanas, so she wasn't even like really, I guess, aware of it until he like, I don't know, threw her in or something. I don't know. Tyrande?
Yes.
The night elf, though, you know, the one that had the moon goddess or whatever within her. When she was had like merged with the moon goddess or whatever, and like had like the stars kind of like all over her like face and in her body, it reminded me of a Spider-Man comic book where it was Acts of Vengeance, and he got kind of like taken over by, or he had like the power within him of, I think it was like Captain Universe or something. I can't remember the exact character's name, but it was like, again, he had all the stars. I think all of a sudden he had like this cosmic power within him, and he became like supercharged and super powerful. And it was like in Acts of Vengeance, different villains are basically attacking different heroes because they're like, oh, they don't know our moves, so we might be able to have more success against them. And Spider-Man just ends up becoming like the most powerful, and like no one can take him down. It was pretty cool. Anyways, that's just what it reminded me of.
It reminded me of Liu Kang's tattoos at the end of Mortal Kombat. Is it 11?
Okay, yeah.
Like bright white tattoos that he has.
Yep, that's Mortal Kombat 11.
I also thought, kind of on the subject of that character, I really liked that moment of, you know, you have to choose vengeance or you have to choose basically like your own salvation. And I think that's, you know, we love a good revenge story. We've covered that many times in various things that we've reacted to. And I think I'll always love a good revenge story. There's something very human about wanting to take that justice and see it served, or be the one to dish it out. At the same time, that's, I think, a very wise choice to pose to someone, because as much as you might desire vengeance when you've been wronged or someone you loved has been wronged, going down that path ultimately is a dark path. Salvaging who you are versus becoming perhaps that thing that you hated in the first place or fell victim to is pretty poignant question to pose.
Well, and then that choice that she had kind of mirrors the choice that Sylvanas now has, because now her good self is now aware of it, and now her good soul or whatever has to choose to kind of like, you know, in the sort of like Hulk Bruce Banner kind of, you know, parallel, like let the Hulk take over and like kind of like, you know, like lose yourself and be like, give the Hulk the wheel or whatever. So give Sylvanas, the evil Sylvanas, the Banshee Sylvanas, you know, let her be in charge of their body, so that they can find out where the jailer is, because that Sylvanas is the only one that can help defeat the jailer.
That
like,
knows his plans. I've very often been less impressed by Anduin. I mean, he's a good guy, but like, that's it. Like, he's always just been the golden boy. He's been vanilla. He always does the right thing. And like, yes, we all need that good hero boy and like the white suit of armor with the golden horse and all that jazz. Whatever.
I almost made a joke when they were like, they're talking about Anduin and how he's pure of heart. I'm just like, cause he's a virgin.
He very well could be. I'm glad that they're now taking his perfect image and messing it up, because it needs to be messed up a bit.
So,
That's
do you
fun.
think after he gets a little bit messed up and like after he goes through some stuff, do you think in like the next expansion or whatever, he like, you know, he gets his hair all black and he becomes like emo Anduin?
No.
He's just like shut up in his room, and that like guy that like was like, you know, his like ward or whatever, that like didn't do anything. Like these banshees are coming after him, throw a bunch of chains on him. He watches, sees him go off, and goes, Sylvanas! Do you didn't do anything. You just watched the whole thing happen. And it's not like, I mean, it happened fast, but it didn't happen that fast. You didn't like jump out and try to like grab the chain or something.
I mean, he could have at least morphed into his wolf self.
Yeah.
You know, in, like the moment of frenzy. What I did like about, and yet this goes to more of Anduin being like the perfect boy or whatever, but one thing I did really like is in this moment where he's recognizing that he's losing himself and losing his willpower, he actually has this incredible moment of empathy with Sylvanas, who doesn't necessarily deserve empathy. I mean, she's done terrible, awful things to himself, his friends, his people, but he is able to see past that into seeing potentially what sort of her reality has been and what her truth has been during these very dark years that she spent as the Banshee, and says, is this what it was like for you? And I just thought, you know, to set aside all the hurt, anger, and rage that you would naturally have to feel towards this person and recognize their own potential suffering was just that very much impressed me.
Yeah, I mean, empathy is one of the toughest things to have, and it's, you know, it's often confused with sympathy, where people are, you know, like very sympathetic towards somebody else, and they feel bad for somebody else when, like, you know, somebody has been hurt or wrong or something like that. But it's a totally different ability to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and kind of see the world from their perspective and try to like think of like, okay, how can they be this way? How can they think this way? Even especially when you don't agree with them. That's what makes it real tough. So now you know, you're walking a mile in her shoes, and
it's not even not agreeing with her.
No.
It's the fact that like she's killed people.
Oh yeah, no,
there's way more than not agreeing. There's so much hurt that's coming through there. Or should be like there.
But I mean, what I'm saying is that, like, you know, now he's kind of seeing what that can do to somebody when their soul gets like ripped out from them, and they, you know, he's saying he kept losing a part of himself more and more the more his will was kind of being taken over. And if the jailer had always kind of been in control of Sylvanas and was kind of chipping away at her, and she kept losing her willpower over and over again, then, you know, that's something where, okay, now, like, again, maybe not forgivable, but understandable. And that's kind of what I've been looking for Sylvanas in this expansion. I don't need her to be redeemed. I don't need to like her after this. I don't need her to be like a hero after this or whatever. I just need to understand her motives. I just need to understand where she was coming from. And I think they've done that in a variety of different ways. You know, whether it's good or bad. You know, it's obviously in the eye of the beholder. But yeah, I'm looking forward to at least seeing where this ends up and where they take it, and seeing if they're able to, you know, wrap it all up nicely.
I am curious for Sylvanas, just kind of on that note, like when she says burn it for the tree, is she saying it as in like, even if it is an evil version of herself, is that her decision being made? Or is she a puppet in that moment being controlled by the jailer, and the jailer is saying burn it, and she's simply the vessel through which he's communicating that? Because those aren't necessarily the same thing, and I would be very curious as to how exactly this has worked with her, which she obviously is discovering now for herself, so I imagine that we will learn it as she learns it, but...
It's a difference between, like, having free will and, like it's a difference between being manipulated and being, like, controlled. Like, if you're mind controlled or whatever, like, that's one thing. Like, you know, then you really can't be, you know, blamed for it if you've been brainwashed or whatever. But if you're just being manipulated, then all that someone is doing is just taking what was already there and just twisting it a little bit.
Yeah. They're pointing you down the path versus like literally dragging you there.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't know exactly which way it goes, because, you know, like I said, we weren't able to cover everything in it, but yeah. At least looking forward to more, and let us know when new stuff comes out, and we will try to cover it, or maybe we'll, you know, try to piece up a bunch of cinematics together again for part 12. Y'all have been great about, you know, being patient with us for when we mess up on things, and for being really supportive in the comments, for adding in different little details that were missed in the cinematics, like in between that we didn't cover. And so thank you all so much for continuing with our journey for World of Warcraft Part 11, Shadowlands, the second half. Just keep in mind,
our reaction is definitely not definitive.